what they could view as a rather rough situation is the Minnesota Vikings coming in here and saying, never mind, we're back. Here you go. Aaron Rodgers, you want to come to here? You want to come put the purple helmet on, follow Brett Favre one more time, sign maybe in August, because we're leaving the door open that maybe that's when we're ready to sign you, is August. August 16th, I believe, is the day that Aaron Rodgers inked that deal with the Minnesota Vikings. And maybe August 16th is the day that Aaron Rodgers does the same. Terrible news for the Pittsburgh Steelers coming out of Minnesota today, as their general manager was asked, Are you done with Aaron Rodgers? Is that what's going on here? His response was this, quote, "A player like him is always going to be in the conversation. But from our delineations, I don't even know what that word is. Okay. At that time, we're happy with what we are going forward. Obviously, the caliber of player he is, it had to be part of our conversation." He continued by adding, "For me to sit here and say anything is 100% forever, that's just not my job." Conversations of Aaron Rodgers had, okay, we're going to go with JJ. That's going to be our guy. But you want to know what they're saying? What they're saying is JJ hasn't thrown a football in 8 months and isn't going to throw one in front of us for another 4 and isn't going to throw one and take contact for another 6. And we have no idea what's going to happen. And if Aaron Rodgers is willing to wait this thing out this long, he's willing to wait longer. There's nothing in him that's saying, okay, yeah, I got to make a deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Giants are off the board, which means, again, and everybody could say conspiracy theorist, no way. This is how the NFL operates, okay? This is how deep these connections are most of the time, even when we try to deny that they're not. The Giants are off the board, okay? The Steelers are the only option left besides retirement. And retirement is certainly on the table for Aaron Rodgers. I've been told that a number of times, that retirement is still here and a possibility, and the Steelers would not be surprised if Aaron Rodgers went with the retirement route, although they believe and are confident that he does want to play and they are the best landing spot for him. The Vikings were given an opportunity to address Aaron Rodgers and said, right now we're pretty good. We're pretty all right. But we're never going to close the door on potentially signing Aaron Rodgers, because that's crazy. And people will say, oh, shut up, you're reaching for nothing. Okay, let's go back to Kyle Shanahan a couple of years ago. When asked, is Jimmy Garoppolo going to be on your roster in 2025 or at the start of the season or whatever year it was? And his response was, I don't know if we're going to be alive on Sunday. You want to know what happened to Jimmy Garoppolo? Wasn't on the roster. These coaches and these everything leave the door open for all possibilities, because they understand that anything could happen in the NFL and anything can happen at any moment in the NFL, and they need to have plan B. And I think this was simply just a little sign to Aaron to say, maybe one day, pal. Maybe one day. You want to draw this thing out till June? Maybe the door opens in June. Maybe I'm reaching here. But I took this as the Vikings sending a clear message to say never say never. Never say never. And Aaron, if you're willing to wait this thing out, we're going to keep the door open for as long as we could keep it open. I'm not saying that means Aaron's going to listen, but it sure as hell seems like Aaron's got no issue saying, yeah, well, maybe we could wait a little bit longer. Maybe we could wait couple more days, couple more weeks, maybe a couple more months before I decide on where I'm headed in 2025. You heard it. You watched it. You caught it on Twitter when it went viral and everybody freaked out about it. Is Aaron Rodgers still a possibility for the Minnesota Vikings?
It certainly seems that way. I mean, they sent out the bat signal. They said, hey, listen, if you're still there in August and we're not feeling good about JJ, we'd love to have you. And if you're Aaron Rodgers, yeah, that might mean it's a better shot at a Super Bowl. So maybe I do try to hold off on that. But if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you look at them and say, yeah, we're not getting into this situation all summer long. Make your decision now on us or we're moving on. And I think that's one thing that we've said all along is they need to have the willpower to walk away from the table. They've put themselves in the exact same position. It's deja vu that they were in with Brandon Ayuk. They tried to wait it out. They tried to be the last man standing, as it were. And it ends up being the team that he actually wants to go to versus the team that he'll settle for. The Steelers, in both situations, are the team that Aaron Rodgers and Brandon Ayuk were going to settle for because they were the last team there. But the team that both players actually want to play for, the Niners stayed in it till the last second, and they ended up retaining Brandon Ayuk. The Vikings reopening that door tells you, hey, we're in the same exact situation, and you can't let yourself get deep into the summer without having that contingency plan. Because if you go in to the season with Mason Rudolph, Skylar Thompson, and Joe Flacco as your other backup, it is the worst case scenario for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So what you need to do, if this is how Aaron's going to play it, there was that deadline that we talked about that Faribaugh had reported that the Steelers gave him as a soft deadline of the 21st. Move that up to Monday. Move that up to Monday and say, listen, if you want to be part of the Steelers, it's between three things right now, and you've had plenty of time to make that decision. We have to move on with our plan, and we have to go somewhere else at quarterback.
So not to say I told you so, okay? Not going to do that to you. But I'm just saying that my deadline originally was this coming Monday, and I was told it's too early. Too early of a deadline here. Makes sense, and I agree with you. Now, here's the problem with the Steelers is that if Aaron Rodgers calls them in August and their quarterback room is Quinn Ewers, Mason Rudolph, and Skylar Thompson, it's not like you're not answering the phone, It's not like Pittsburgh sitting around going, I don't know, man. Pride. It's a matter of pride. It's a matter of principle here. I don't think that they do that. I think they'd answer the phone, and I think everybody else thinks they'd answer the phone. And again, it's not the ideal situation. It's a terrible situation to be in. But if Aaron Rodgers wanted to draw this thing out all summer long and call them August 15th and say, hey, I think I am ready to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers, unless they did something crazy in the draft, I have such a hard time viewing it and saying Mike Tomlin would say no. Omar Khan would say no. Now, I will say this, okay? I don't think that's going to happen. I do believe that there is a pretty strong level of respect between Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan and those guys after those meetings. Everything I've heard is that it went really well, and that while they're optimistic, it's more so about how the Steelers feel Aaron has a respect for them and they have a respect for Aaron, and there was no sense of diva when they were talking. There was no sense of you guys will wait until I'm ready, and that's the end of it when they were all there. And maybe he's just a good actor. Maybe he's real good at just pulling the wool over somebody's eyes. That could be a possibility. I have no idea. But everything I've heard kind of gives you the sense that there's a level of respect that I think will hold Aaron back from doing something that drastic. And to be honest, that much of just a jerk move, because that's what that is. As I understand that this is contemplating retirement or the Vikings or so on and so forth. If it's retirement or the Steelers and you got to wait it out a little while, I get it. But if it's Steelers or Vikings and you're just saying, well, I'm just going to wait it out till the Vikings, you make the Steelers look terrible. The Steelers look terrible in the process. And I mean, they have to wait around for him, but they shouldn't, because you look really bad at the end of this situation. But again, I feel there's a level of respect here that they are going to listen. Again. What I've been told is they expect it by Sunday. They expect it late this week, early next week. There's an answer of some sort. But at the same time, Pelissero comes out and says it. Hey, couple of days. I don't think the Vikings GM listens to all Steelers talk, but if he did, we said Sunday yesterday. And he gets an opportunity to stand in front of everybody and say, Aaron, maybe in a little while, if you hold on a little bit longer. I think it's a direct shot, a direct message to say, hey, we haven't made up our mind either. So you don't want to make up yours. It's okay. There's no need to rush this situation. I still think it works in the Steelers' favor, but my gosh, I did not by any means see the Vikings re-entering the chat this offseason. I thought they were done. I thought it was over. I also didn't see them being, the mind game kind of drag you along that they're being right now. And they know exactly what they're doing, because it goes like it's going to go a number of ways. But I think best case scenario for Minnesota, look at this as JJ's our guy. The Steelers move on eventually. July comes, Aaron doesn't have a team, and we call him and say, hey, we want you to come and mentor JJ. We'll give you guys a position battle. JJ's going to win it. And they know JJ's going to win it. And I don't think Aaron falls for that trick. But I think in Minnesota's eyes, that's best case scenario. Is Aaron Rodgers is out of options because they made him wait too long. And they could get him for a potential backup spot behind JJ. Again, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think Aaron Rodgers is smarter than that, but I do think that's Minnesota's outlook on this is like, you never know. You never know what's going to happen here.